Hello, everybody. I'm Kim. This is Ramona, which even though it says Vivace at the bottom, we'll get into that later. But for now, just want to introduce you to myself and her. Today this is our first time doing this. I'll just put it out there. We are about real talk here, me and Ramona, and pretty much everyone in our network, to be honest with you. So what we're going to do today is try and go over some of Ramona's background and how she got from I don't want to give you too many details yet, but how she got from being an Air Force heavy heavy equipment operator, which who thinks of that for a fine artist? Heavy equipment operator to now literally running a white glove service for high-end yachts and vehicles. So it's gonna be an interesting story. I hope you stay till the end because there'll probably be lots of laughs in here, hopefully. And now that I said that, there probably won't be because of the rules of the gods. But you know, you know how it goes. So I'm curious, Ramona, like when we first started, right, which was how far do you think we go back now?
Is it like 7 or 8 years? Yeah, I think it's 8 years.
And
yeah.
you were actually, believe it or not, I don't even know if you know this, actually. Did you know that you were the very first Artocalypse member?
What? I did not know that. That was like a turning point for me being part of that.
Yeah, I mean, like, what would you say to someone like just in trying to go from, you know, an artist who does it as a hobby to someone who's trying to go commercial in some way, monetizing your art, whether it's through just selling art or trying to build a business, which is what you're doing. What would you say to people like to not stay in, like, what's the importance of not being isolated and finding people, trusted people you can collaborate with? Like bouncing off of that Artocalypse idea, because that is and it was the same for me. Essentially, that really launched off quite a few things for me in knowing isolation's not the way to do this. I'm not going to get it done. How do you think about that? Like if someone was to say to you like how you got from just doing it as a hobby to going full on, like, and the importance not being isolated played for you.
Well, I think it's so important that people realize that as artists, we're not in competition with each other. There's no like, oh, her art's better than mine or his art's better than mine. It doesn't work that way. So it's really important to support each other.
Yeah.
And when you step up and support your artist friends and you show up to their gallery openings or whenever somebody like you says, hey, I've got this event going on, the Artocalypse. And that was what, 2026?
We're in 2020. And actually, yeah, it was 2019 was really when we started talking, kind of end of 2019, we started talking about it. And then it started 2020.
Yes.
Right?
Well, yeah. It's easy to like be like afraid, like, because I remember like, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea. So I had to like, well, I have faith in you and Chris and Jonah and everyone.
We were new to each other then. Like,
yeah,
we were all I wouldn't say strangers, but close enough. You know, yeah. I mean, we were all very new to each other, and I feel like it was a big trust jump for all of us, but somehow it was like there was some, I don't know if it's something in us. You think it's like innate to know that, like, because I feel as an artist too, even though it's a different form of art, the marketing and the branding, and I paint and all that too, but I don't really just sell my paintings. I don't really do that as a business, but I still take the creative the other way. But I find like most of before that moment, almost a lot of it I did do in isolation and like to myself, you know. And when we started the Artocalypse thing, that launched so much learning for me, and the understanding that there are artists, there are creatives, there are people who aren't artists, like Chris isn't an artist. There are people who aren't in our creative field, right, who actually want to be a part of it, who are interested in, you know, helping facilitate the things we do. you know, be right. And like as creatives, like a lot of business stuff we don't know. I learned a lot of my marketing and branding stuff. I learned through this whole process from Artocalypse to now. And who would think you would learn that much in such a short period of time? And to me, I feel like a lot of that was the collaboration, being around all of these other kind of like-minded people who also took this leap of faith of saying, you know what, I've been doing this myself for a while. Maybe I can get in with a group of people, and maybe one or two will pop out that I can work with. And that seemed to have like branched off into a lot of other collaborative opportunities, especially for you.
Yeah, because when you talk about the word isolation, man, you couldn't have hit on a better word, because this all happened. You were talking about it, and then COVID happened, and everybody went into lockdown, and this was our way to be like, oh my gosh, you know, how do we get the art out there? So it was really important to take that leap of faith, but also to, like, as an artist, it's okay to say, I don't know. Like, I don't know the technical stuff. Like, and you know, you've walked me through some stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But you know, the more you do things, you know, that first step is so scary, but if you have to take it, because if people are saying to you like, oh my God, why are you giving that away? I would pay for it. Like, yeah, look, I paid for this because I think cool.
Right, Heather. Right, Heather's tumblers. Right.
Look, I still use it all the time. Like,
and that confidence that gave her so much added confidence. And you actually used tumblers, and you actually loved the art. And like, and to her, a sale like that, as we know as artists, any sale, like any small business owner in general, right? It's like you do that happy dance, right? Like when you're like, yes, like, because you don't really, you don't know, you don't believe, like, you see your work. We're very hypercritical of our own work generally. And so when someone buys it, and then when it's somebody who's like within our own community, it's almost like, it's almost even better, because that whole, everyone thinks there's competition between artists thing, you know, and then when we buy from each other and we help each other, and that's gotten us all so far. There's several of us in this group, like, who have just gone so far. And I'm not putting this all on the Artocalypse, just the idea of how that kind of thing sort of, I feel like, got us, a lot of us, out of this isolation, isolationism almost in the creative world. It was, lockdown almost helped us, because it like made us come together. Whereas artists we do tend to like kind of stick to ourselves. I feel that way. Do you feel that way?
Oh, absolutely. I could totally just be in my studio painting all day long. I would never have to see another person. I'd be perfectly fine. You know, that's just the pizza guy. But having the Artocalypse was definitely, it's like a first step. And you can't be afraid to take that first step. And that's my advice. The scarier it is, maybe the bigger the better it is on the other side. But
no risk, no reward.
And you have to try. Like, if you don't try, then you're not like living up to your full potential, you know, sort of like just try. What are they going to do? Say no? So big deal. You're going to get a million no's. It's not personal.
No, it's not personal. And it's true. You're going to get a million no's. And just the fear of the no should not stop you from getting out there. It really shouldn't, because eventually someone says yes, and that feels amazing. And then you get all this confidence and you learn so much. And I just think that's amazing. I don't think, in my opinion, though, with you, I think a lot of maybe I want to hear this from you, though. It's because I've been holding this personal opinion for a while. So because of your background in the Air Force, right? And I know it's not the only work you did, but that was a big chunk of it, right? And I don't think many people think of fine artist and then think of Air Force heavy equipment operator. So it's like such a cool differentiator just in general. But how do you think that experience from the Air Force itself, how do you think that helped you, prepared you for like what it is you have to do now, running and organizing all of these logistics that you have now going on in this multifaceted, I mean, even just because you are a very intelligent businesswoman, where you say, like we're all supposed to do, I try to surround myself with people who know what I don't know, and trust that they will do the job, right? But there have been some moments in this where you trusted some people and they weren't exactly right. But you could have easily, packed up the bags and just quit at that moment. So what do you think the Air Force played into that? What do you think that kind of experience helped you, or anything else from your life has helped you to kind of deal with running this business that you're creating?
Well, the great thing about the Air Force is that, well, first of all, everybody in the military always has to like give a little dig to the other branches of the military. So I'm really fond of saying that we are the intellectual branch of the military.
Right.
Excuse me, all choked up over that.
Yeah. I'll cough with you, so we're both going.
And what the military teaches you is how to define your goal. What is the mission? And like one statement, what's your mission? My mission is to move things from point A to point B. My mission is to make sure I don't rip a wing off of this B-52. That's an $8 million plane, $8 billion plane.
Right. Oh, that's a good point.
So you define your mission, and what is it? You just want to make money, like make it as simple as possible. And then it's sort of like we work backwards from there in the military. What's the goal? Here's the mission. What's the final goal? And then make the steps to work yourself backwards. But the most important thing, the very most important thing, like you alluded to, like bad things can happen and, trust doesn't work out. But just don't give up on your dream. Just because somebody comes in and, throws a little dog turd in the middle of it, you just kick it out of the way and keep moving, Like it's okay to cry and lay in bed for a few days or even a week or two, but nobody's going to do it for you. You have to do it for yourself.
Yep. I totally agree with that. Agree with it.
Can I say one more thing too, is that when people say no, it's really interesting. Some people will say no, like, no, thanks, not interested. And some people, like, especially when you have your art like out for the public to comment on, and people be like, that is not my taste. I don't like it. And it's like, cool. I elicited a response from you. You were not indifferent.
Yeah.
So that's a win in itself too.
It is a win. I agree, because it's not supposed to be for everybody. And getting a response, hate or love, is a response, and that's what you want.
Yeah.
Because if someone hates it, that means someone's going to love it. Generally, I mean, we live in a world of this kind of like hot and cold. This is how the world is made, right?
Yeah.
Evil and good, hot and cold, and so if you have someone hating it, you kind of almost know you're onto something.
Yeah,
it's almost
exactly.
like an indicator. It's like, all right, like if they hate it, oh wow, all right, now I just got to go find someone who loves it, because if someone could not like it that much, I must be onto something.
Yeah, and
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, one of my connections on LinkedIn, he's really cool. His name is Dennis, and he's like been super supportive throughout my whole journey, and like, behind the scenes messages of support and things like that, which is amazing. So when someone reaches out to you with support like that, listen, don't think you know everything. Listen and be like, oh, that's a great idea, because we are in the middle of our journey, and other people from the outside can see, oops, hey, maybe this might work better. But
right.
But he doesn't hesitate to say, yeah, it's not my favorite. Like whenever I'll post stuff, it's not my favorite, or, oh, I really like that. But you know what that gives you? When you have somebody like that, that gives you honest feedback. You don't want people just being like, oh, I love everything you do. Because everything you do is not going to be good.
There's nothing more valuable than having honest people in your corner. I have learned that. Like, I worked with so many startups, and they dealt with, before coming to me, people who kind of just yesed everything they wanted to do, because they weren't really about, getting the person set in the right way. They were kind of really, I mean, sadly to say, about the money and just getting their end, getting their paycheck, and then moving on. It's like, it's a tricky job I do. It's very, it's very difficult, because you are dealing with, it is somebody else's idea. So you have to be careful, because there's a line. It's like, how honest do you be? But thankfully for me, I'm just, I don't know if I'm born that way or what, but I'm a really straightforward person. And that can rub people the wrong way. But I find that it only rubs the people the wrong way who don't really want to do the work, or who aren't really interested in knowing what it is they need to do or don't need to do, or having a new idea, or aren't open to expanding their idea or narrowing down their idea to what works and doesn't work. So I 100% agree with you. And I think that works in my field as much as it does in art. And that's so true. Having honest people you can trust is I think literally a game changer between maybe even being successful and not being successful. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
people can yes you all day long and maybe not have your best interests at heart.
Yeah, which we've been through a few of those.
Yeah.
Not naming names. We won't do that, LinkedIn or wherever you're watching that. We won't do that to anyone because we do believe in giving people grace, and people can make mistakes and they can do things and maybe having a bad time in their life. But unfortunately, you're going to lose clients when you're like that. And so, yeah, a few people have lost Ramona over the years who probably could have still been working with her, and to my benefit. So I'm not upset about it, quite frankly. But it's a good lesson for anyone out there who thinks they need to just go along with the client, no matter what, whether you're an artist sitting in front of a client, or you're someone like me working with an artist or a different entrepreneur. You don't need to do that. And in fact, don't do that, because you're going to lose the job one way or the other, because you're going to get to a point where the person's not going to be successful. And they're going to blame you, and probably rightfully so, because you weren't honest with them. And that brings up a good question for me with you. Like, you've had a couple of roadblocks with clients, right? So, and like, you have a quote from one of the testimonials on your site from I forget which one it is, but the point of the thing was that this client of yours was ready to kind of just settle, and they were like, "Oh, it's good enough, it's fine." There was like a mistake in the thing, right? And that was that Mike T, right?
Mike over, in Washington State, Vancouver.
Yeah, and that, I mean, it was so important to him that he gave you a testimony about it, right? Like, and the fact that you handled it that way. I mean, what do you think gives you that? Like, where do you think that comes from in you to be so, like, to keep the integrity, to keep the honesty, that you don't like just be like, "Oh, all right, fine. Well, if it's okay, take it, and I'm out and I'm on to the next client." Like, where does that play in your mind in the business? Is it part of your character trait, or do you think it's some business, like integrity in business, or is it a goal of yours to do that? Like, where does that come from for you?
That was just the way that I think it's the era that we grew up in. You just do the best of you take any job and do it to the best of your ability. Like my mom always taught us, every job has honor. Never ever look down on the janitor or the garbage man. Every job has honor, especially when you do it to the best of your ability. And in the military, I had some really great bosses that said, if you make a mistake, you just shoot your hand up and say, "That was me. That was me. I made a mistake." And then together we all fix it. So there's no shame in making mistakes. So, but when you make a mistake, you also have to, like, I had something happen recently where I'll just say it, the garage floor that we did up in Memphis, there were some miscommunications. The wrong paint was used and the paint cracked. And so we had to sand some of it up. And the first thing, when I found out about it from the client, the first thing I said was, "I'm refunding your money." And he's like, "No." He said, because we, you were honest with me at the beginning and said, "I've never done a garage floor," and I was willing to take a chance. So guess what? We get to chance to do it a second time.
Yeah. And all because of your honesty.
Well, it's just easier.
Mostly.
It's just easier. And don't be afraid when you make a mistake. Just say so, because people will give you grace. Like,
they will.
That was me. Don't run from your mistakes. Like, I actually have this thing that I do that I think is kind of funny. Like, you ever been in a restaurant and like you can hear like dishes crashing in the back?
Oh yeah.
I'll be like, that was me. Depending on who I'm with. If I'm with like my family, I will like yell it like in my loudest sergeant voice because everybody's looking at the kitchen or whoever made the mess.
Yeah.
I go, that was me, and everybody turns and laughs. So
I love that.
Oh,
see, now more reasons why I love Ramona, people. You just all need to like, this woman is amazing. I'm telling you. That's brilliant. I mean, who would think to do that, right? We need to follow you. Y'all need to take some notes. Take some notes.
Feel free. It's not copyrighted. Take that and run with it.
Take it and run with it, man. That's brilliant. You're relieving the pressure for the whole room, because you're right. Everyone turns their heads, and it's such a little thing, but it makes such a big difference, and it's funny.
And I can't help. I have to laugh about it when I say it. That was me. So childish.
Oh God, that is so great. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But it's interesting though, like going from like, so you're dealing with like, I know it's a segue from that, but in dealing with this, you're in a high-end market, right? Luxury market, right? So when I think about, like, and we've had this conversation several times, because I tell you all the time, like I work with a lot of startups, and part of the problem that a lot of startups have is that they don't really do the pre-work, right? Like a lot of times you have a great idea, like the dream business idea, which every entrepreneur has, but that dream business idea takes step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 before you can probably even get to the point where you have everything you need to then start doing the things you need in marketing, sales, whatever. A lot of people do it the other way around, and they try to do the marketing and the sales first. And especially I think in art, this is really important, because I also deal with a lot of artists with the Artocalypse community, and like you have all of your stuff copied, not all of it, but a chunk of it that you're going to use, that you want to license and do out to people. So you have taken for years, every time you created a piece, you took each piece, you sacrificed some of your money a little bit. Maybe you didn't eat a couple sandwiches that you wanted to eat that week. Save that money because it wasn't cheap. It's like $50 to $150 to do these scans, but you got every piece of art that you knew later on you were going to want to use to license. And you didn't do it because you knew exactly what it was going to be licensed on. You just knew this was a step I know I'm going to have to take. And so if I do a little bit by bit, and over those years, you were able to create yourself, this stock of stuff that you need. And like now you have the ability to do so many different things that you wouldn't have been able to do, or you could do, but you'd have to now save $5,000 to go get each one of them digitized. And it's so it's like a big deal. And you got them very professionally done. You didn't just like a lot of people like, oh my gosh, it's like dig into this AI thing, right? Because you can now take art and shove it into an AI, and it'll do a version of like what a professional scan would be, but not to the point where it's going to be completely scalable and fully identical vectorized, where you can actually use this image. And people don't really understand that, I don't think, because a lot of people, they want to take the quick shortcut on stuff, or they want to just start the sales tomorrow. And especially in art, like, what would you say to people like with regards to that kind of thing?
Well, what I did
Artists
was,
especially.
yeah, for an artist, and I learned this through patents. I have global patents in my name for a medical device, but I was unable to practice the patents. I was unable to monetize the patents due to unforeseen circumstances.
Right.
But it doesn't matter because I learned so much, and my name will always be on those patents. So that
yeah, learning process.
So what I learned was that your art is intellectual property.
Yeah.
Your art is intellectual property. So when I first moved here, starting my life over, moved to Florida from New Hampshire, and moved here, and like I was working as a hostess and a server in a restaurant, a couple of days a week. And like you said, every month, like once I started painting, you know, and people said, hey, so I'm like, well, hey, might as well take them to a studio. And the first few paintings I brought, I had some smaller ones and I had some bigger ones, and they were charging me different prices.
Yeah.
So I said, hey, I want to keep bringing in these paintings and get them photographed, you know, to use later on. And so I negotiated with the manager of the studio for like a one price, like $150, no matter what size. So then it was like, well, I'm going to do big ones, because if I'm paying $150, I'm just doing big paintings. But like you said, I didn't know what my plan was with that. I didn't know where I was going to be in 5 or 6 years, but I knew that my art needed to be protected. So you can in some way, and it's like, for me, a year ago, 2 years ago, it was like $1,300 for, I think it was like up to 30 images you give to just like to let me spit it out, an a copyright attorney, an intellectual property copyright attorney. And so what they'll do is you send them the digital files, they'll put together the thing, and then next thing you know, you get the copyright paperwork back. And copyright paperwork, copyright status is something that always belongs to you. So I can put that in my will and pass it down to my daughter as an asset. So don't forget that. Yeah, that is an asset for you. And when we were, when this is like the stories match up. So when we were shopping the patent and looking for manufacturers and things like that and investors, the most important thing was that the patent was pending.
Right.
Own the rights, the intellectual property. So the same thing with your art. Own your IP. You need to own the rights to your art. So please, 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 even if you don't know where it's going, start building that portfolio, because now I have a huge portfolio.
And now you can do all these things. Like now you have the opportunity. Like now you're at the point with the fine boat wraps where you're kind of established this brand. At least a pretty significant chunk of that establishment of that brand is doing really well. You've done a lot of good projects, and people are getting to know this name, and it's getting out there. And now, because you have this library of copyrighted work, you are able to then reach out to manufacturers and start right now you're starting the research part of the project for expanding the business into items like potentially apparel, dresses, maybe merch packages for like charters and crews and that sort of thing. And you wouldn't even be able to do that if you didn't have, like, even just to have the conversation, you have to, those people want to know, is the work copyrighted? Right. So like you wouldn't even be able to do this if you hadn't done that. So do you feel like if you're speaking to an artist right now, right, which hopefully some are watching, would you tell them, like, you know, we spend money on materials, we buy paint, none of this stuff is cheap, right? So we're investing quite a bit of money already. We already don't know yet how or in which way we're going to sell or whatever. And that's going to cost money too, because you're going to have to get out and either do shows or you're going to have to do e-commerce or something. So there's going to be an investment there. Would you tell an artist, like I do, factor this in, factor it in, just like you buy a canvas, factor in the idea that when you get a piece that you like, that you should be factoring, research the local area, how much, you know, these professional places are near you. Ramona's was 150, maybe yours is 200, maybe you know someone at 70, find a good place. Would you say this should definitely be something every artist who, whether they even know if they're going to create a business or not, just factors it in like materials?
Absolutely. You have to protect your art. That's yours. That belongs to you. And especially with the rise of AI, where it's like, I'm sure it's used some of my art that's out there to,
100%,
to learn. But what you want to make sure, though, is that if somebody else uses your art, you have no legal recourse. You have none whatsoever. Hey, you put it out, and it's called the public domain. You put it out in the public domain, it's a free for all.
Free
But
for
if
all.
you put it out in the public domain and it's copyrighted and somebody tries to make money off of it,
And they do. People do it.
you have an action. You can sue them. You can
Yeah.
get damages. So please, please protect your work. You should
Yeah.
do it just as a matter of pride. Like, this is mine. I own it. I
Right.
own this, you know?
Right.
So,
I mean, we would never have to explain this to an author, right? Like an author doing their book, they're going to copyright that book, man. You know,
yeah.
I deal with so many artists with branding and marketing and startup stuff, and none of them do this. And I tell you all the time, I'm like, we've got to get you on a call so that I can show this to some of my people, because it is so important, you know, even if you never do a business. But chances are, if you're painting and you're doing it and you're doing it, you know, all the time, you probably are going to at some point do a business out of it. Maybe not now. Maybe you have young kids and you're doing it as, like, you know, a mental health thing, or maybe you have another job and it's your side hobby. But nobody's jobs really are forever. Kids
Right.
grow up, right? So
Yeah.
you're going to have this art. You're spending all this money on materials. And maybe you're telling yourself, well, I'm just doing it as a hobby. Yeah, okay. But that's not really the case. It's your work. Well, even if, like, let's say you had 100 pieces and you didn't do it, and it was just a hobby for you, and you had them all like in a studio or in storage, which you're paying for storage now for the art, or it's taking up space in your house, which is essentially costing you money anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Like you said, like, if you died tomorrow, what's the person supposed to do with this art? You don't like, when it's protected. If you have children or you have a place you want to put, you know, if you don't have children, you can donate it and they can then go use it and make money with it. Whereas if you don't do that, you can't, nobody can do that.
Yeah.
You know? And then another thing about you that I'm always telling you is, I wish more people would do, is that you get out there. You go out, you network like crazy. You show up to events, whether you're the in the event or not. It could be some other artist gallery show. It could be an event that maybe your art is hanging somewhere at, but it's not really about you, but you're there. Somebody offers in the very beginning, like, you did a whole bunch of things for, like, companies which we don't want to name, because not that I don't want to give them a shout out or anything. It's just there's so many, and I don't have them all, and I wouldn't want to leave anyone out. But you did several projects where it was like, it was either charitable or it was an established business even, but they just didn't pay you. But you treated it like a learning process and an opportunity to network and to get to know people and to find out what is entailed in this type, if I take my art and use it in this way. Like one you did at one point, I won't mention the company, but your art was wrapped around like their cans, right? And I don't believe they paid you for it. I don't remember, but I think it was, I don't believe it was, but it was, you took it as, what is your thought process on that? Like, why did you know to do this? How do you recommend, what do you tell artists, like, if they're listening, what's the importance of all this? How do you do it? How do you get over is there a fear involved with networking and showing up at these things? How do you overcome it if there is? Do you like let's talk to these artists. Like, what do you do? How do you do this?
Well, I just like, especially if it's it's important, first of all, to show up for your artist friends, because there is nothing worse than having a show and just sitting there and waiting for people to show up. Because I've had that happen to me on the Miami side, where I've invited a lot of people and people say, yeah, I'll be there, and they didn't show up, and it feels really crappy. It feels really crappy. So it's really important to just like support each other, and it's not about me, it's just about them. But I think that for me, it was like with that can company, it was just like, hey, that's cool. I like this product.
Yes.
I could have fun with it. Can you send me something? Like, just throw it out there. Like, if you like a company, like, let's say Heather's like, oh, hey, I like your tumblers. They're really cool. And there's something special about them. Why don't you send me 5 or 6 and let me custom do them? I won't charge you anything, but it's a way to get the practice. It helps you get practice on finding a project, working it out. What does the company want? What do they need? And then working with them. And it's just practice. I just did it for practice, for exposure, for the exposure.
Yeah, right. Exposure, which all artists like, and that's like a meme now, right? Like, don't do it. They're only doing exposure. And you and I disagree. We're like, yeah, but how the hell else do you get out there and and learn? How do you practice? How do you learn? How do you even just have fun? Creatives were supposed to have fun. We want to see our art on stuff.
Yeah, I don't. At the very beginning, when I was first doing this, every time I got like a good lead, I would be like so excited. Oh my God, this is going to change my life. And it's going to be great. I'm going to be sun on a yacht, smoking a cigar, sipping champagne. That did not work out.
It never works out that way. It just does not work that way. It doesn't work that way at all.
But yeah, just like don't be afraid to like just reach out. Like you can't be scared. You can't be scared. And another thing about having a portfolio of work that you've already have done, if something happens and a big project comes in, I don't have to scramble. I don't have to create something right now like, oh my God, I got to create something. No, I've got stuff. I got an inventory I can pull from. And another thing that people don't realize that they think that I'm putting the entire painting on the car. I'm not. Like on a car or a wrap. And that's another cool thing I will share with my other artists out there. So when you copyright a piece of art, you can take, let's say if you put like a grid over that piece of art, whether it's 6 squares or 15 or 20 squares grid on that, you can take a section. Each section can become a piece of art. So one painting you can make money off of that painting over and over again. Yeah, because I used to think, being in a gallery is a cool thing. I sell my paintings, and then when I've sold some of my paintings, I'm like, I really miss that painting. I wish I would have, like, there's some that I sold that I didn't get digitized. So, but digitize your art. So if there's a piece that you really love, you can print it for yourself.
And do it properly. Like, go to a professional, save the money and do it right. Don't go cheap on it.
Don't have Uncle Dave do it.
Don't let Uncle Dave do it.
Uncle Dave's been drinking a lot of beer lately, and he's not going to do a good job for you. And he's going to be all mad about it because, hey, we're family, Don't go to Uncle Dave.
You absolutely kill me. That's so funny. Don't go. We're making T-shirts for all of you watching. Don't go to Uncle Dave. He's had too many beers.
Pick another adult.
Pick another adult that's someone who does that for a living. Yeah.
But I feel really lucky because I've been working with Shelby. Shelby works at Johnson Photo Imaging in Bradenton, and she works at the studio that she's the one who takes all my photographs. And then when we get ready to create like wrap designs and stuff, I pay her to sit next to her, and together we put stuff, like, we've got this boat or this car. Let's, this is what the customer wants. And we figure it out. Yeah. But the good thing is now, like, I'm working on repeating patterns. So last week I called Shelby and I'm like, hey, you know how to do repeating patterns better than I do. You know what they mean, because that's her business. She's in the media business. And so you have to trust people enough to let them do their job. So I called her at the beginning of the week or last week, and I said, hey, when you get a chance, and she bills me for the time that she's working, when you get a chance, work on some repeating patterns for me that I might want to use on wallpaper or curtains or carpets or anything, And so I just left her alone to do the job. But we've been working together so long, I just give her the parameters. I don't have to sit by her side every time, which is great. So when you develop relationships with people that are working with you, treasure those relationships, cherish them. Make sure you bring her a Starbucks gift card from time to time with not just $10 on it, because she's not going to be able to buy anything with that. But
well, maybe one coffee.
Yeah.
Or maybe
a cookie.
A cookie. Yeah, the $10 Starbucks cookie. Oh, please.
Yeah.
It's true. You're 100% right.
Yeah, surround yourself with people who don't know how to do the things you do. Like when I'm terrible with tech. I have to call you to help me. Like we have to set up appointments for that, or
Right.
Shelby
But it
help.
makes it so much easier that like we have this trusted, long-standing relationship
Yeah.
because, and it helps me as the person because as the person working for you, I know you well enough. I know what you need, what you're looking for. Whereas if you came to me when, like, anytime someone new comes to me, I can do the job, right? But there's gonna be a lot of questions. There's probably going to be a ton of revisions because I don't know yet. I don't know you yet. I don't know the aesthetic. I don't know what you're looking for. I don't know what the goal is. And
Yeah.
that changes though over the course of a relationship. Whereas a lot of people jump around trying to save a few pennies here or there. There's a deal. Oh, this marketer or this brander or this photographer, whatever, they're giving a deal, but the deal will never be as useful or as important or as beneficial as the relationship with someone who, even if it costs you a tiny bit more, you all the energy you save and the energy you save the other person. Because in general, right, like none of us in our roles make enough money, right? Like nobody makes enough money with the exception of like that, few at the top, right? And everybody knows that. So the easier we can make it for each other, I feel like, to work should be a bigger goal than saving, $50 to $100, because that means every time that person you're giving the work to has to do extra work because they don't know you yet. They don't know your goal. You're going to have to do extra work because you're going to have to explain to them all the things all over again. And that's your time, and time is way more valuable than almost anything else we have, except maybe our attention. Probably attention and time are the two most like valuable things we have to offer, or that we have. So yeah, I agree with you. Finding people to develop relationships with, and people you trust, even if they're not people you're working with, some kind of mentor or a good friend who's honest with you and knows at least a little bit about business and what your goals are, so that they can support you when you're like in the midst of like a difficult time with like a couple of the few you've been through. I've been through them too. I'm not putting it on you. I'm sure, I guarantee everyone watching has been through it too.
Yeah.
And like, if you don't have that, if you don't have a person or a built relationship with someone you're even working with, which can turn into a friendship, and usually does when you work with someone long enough. Like right now, you and I, we are friends. You know what I mean? Like my other startup
Your mom
client,
likes me better than you.
she really does, people. Like she wants to trade me in for Ramona. And I don't know whether I should be excited or insulted.
No, I'm
I don't
the
really
fun
know.
kid. I'm the fun kid.
She's the fun kid. Exactly. So yeah, I think I agree with you, and I think that's so super important that a lot of people don't think about having some people in your corner. And I guess it can feel scary at the beginning, if you're just coming from having nobody to like trying to reach out. I think that probably is the hardest step. But if you can just find one person, just one, because one will open you up, because they probably know some people, right, and that they trust. So then your thing multiplies because you have the one friend.
And the thing is that none of us achieve success without other people helping us. So when people offer their advice and stuff, absolutely take it. And if they want to help you, absolutely go for it. And try things that, you don't, even though you try and do things that you don't think that you're going to have a chance of ever achieving, because you have to try. I'm like, I recently just applied to be a spokesperson for Latitude Yachts.
Love it.
Cricket.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
I did it. Right.
Yeah, you've sent even emails to Tesla, right? And a couple of the others. And like, why wouldn't you do that? Right? Like, what can they say? No. I mean, you draft one letter, make a template. It's a really good one. You swap the names out, people. You don't have to write 100 separate individual letters, know, and then go around, like, make yourself a list of, 50 to like 200 names of ideal companies or people, whoever you'd want to work with, and just then go find out how to get their email. There's lots of ways to get people's emails. If anyone watching needs help with that, hit me up. I'll tell you how to do it. But there's a lot of ways to get people's emails, and you just shoot them the email. And yeah, like probably 99% of them are going to say no, but you do it enough times, somebody's going to say yes. And also you also just feel productive. You feel like you've done something for yourself and for your art.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Like, and then also then I've had someone reached out to me that I was speaking to in Italy, and they're like, "Hey, we can't really work together right now because of tariffs and the war." And I'm like, "Yeah, I get that. No hard problem, no hard feelings." But it wasn't. They didn't say no. They just said we can't work together now. But then a month later, I get a message from them and said, "Hey, there's somebody near you in Cape Coral, Florida." And
there you go.
I was talking to him about you and your art and how you wrap boats and things like that. And this might be a good thing. So, we're going to set an appointment. So you just
know. One person. Just one person.
And besides, everybody needs to get out of their comfort zone. It's fun to go out and support your artist friends, even if it's artists you haven't met yet. Like locally, I will go like to my local, social media stuff. Like, hey, what's going on in Sarasota? Oh, this art gallery opened. Well, heck yeah, I'm going to go.
Of course, yeah.
And one of my artist friends, Jen Kroger, she is here locally and she's had her art up, and like I love going to her shows because I love her art. I think she's an amazing woman. But the last show, she had scraps of canvas that she was going to put together a big collage, and everybody who attended the art show got to do something. I
love that.
Got to participate like in a bigger art project. So how fun is that?
It's amazing. I agree with you. If you're going to try to be in the artist world at all, you got to go out and support your local artists. You have to do it, not just because it's the right thing to do, because so much comes with it. Like so much spiritual fulfillment, people you can meet, things that you just didn't think of, you're going to find at this thing. It's not about competition. It's not about they're better than me, I'm better than them. They do the same, even if they do the same kind of work, same kind of art. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Everybody is different. There's a seat for every ass, as my grandmother used to say back in the day, right? Like, and we're all not going to be sitting on the same seat. You know what I mean? So, but there is one for everyone. And just because you're in a room full of other artists doesn't matter. It really just doesn't matter. That people are not judging in that way. I know that's a very common fear for artists. Hopefully Artocalypse breaks some of that down with what it does. But it's only an online thing. But actually, I think that helps because the online world is so chaotic and it's such an untrustworthy area that having a place that we don't charge anybody anything. We don't do anything with anybody's work that we don't ask about ahead of time. Everything's kept copyright to the individual. All they do is email us if they ever want to want us to take something off of an expo. And we've never had a person even request that. In fact, it's been nothing but the opposite. And conversations like, wow, like, I've tried to do this a million times with other places and they either charge me a fee or they never get back to me or, X, Y, all the way down the alphabet. We've all been there. So I feel like part of my responsibility in what I do is opening the doors for kind of trustworthiness online as a market because of, I guess, my marketing branding side of me. And I guess I invest that energy in artists because I'm an artist. Right? So it's like, and I love artists. So that's where like they say, find somebody to help, like freely in life. You should always just find somebody. For some people, that's, having kids, right? And that's great because you're helping your kids. But they grow up and then you got to, because I feel like we need that fulfillment. You need that, put that good energy out and it makes you feel good. Not because you want anything in return, just genuinely, really, truly just for free, just because you can. And not expecting anything back from it. And online, there's very little of that. And I felt like, especially in the art world, artists are one of the most highly targeted group online because they all put their art up and most of them are not copywriting. They're not even, most of them don't really know. They know very little about online in general, except that they know how to make an account on Instagram, and they taught themselves how to upload a piece of art, right? And so, and they think that that's like going to solve their problems. But it actually creates more problems, and then they find that out, and then it becomes a thing. So that's what the Artocalypse, I think, was more about, was trying to get people to understand that there are people you can trust. There are people who are doing good things, and not asking for anything in return, and that can apply to artists. And it's not just us two, was it? There's plenty of other groups online that do it, and I joined a few of them, and I work with them. But you should look for those people online. I think it's really important. But what I have done, I didn't warn you about this, but I created like a little surprise segment for this, right? And so it's not gonna be hard, but I know you well enough to know that I think you can handle this, and I think it'll just be fun. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like ramble off like a bunch of like one-liner questions, and I want you to answer with the first thing that comes to mind. I don't want you to overthink it. It's just for fun. All right.
All right.
And hopefully they're geared towards you, and they're not going to cause you a problem. They won't. You'll be fine. All right. So like, okay, you ready? So here we go. And I got to read them because I didn't memorize them. So like whoever's all right. So here we go. So on a scale from 1 to 10, how much physical pain does it give you to look at a marina full of white ships?
10. Boring. Oh my God, it's so boring.
It's so boring, right?
It's boring.
It's boring. All right, ready? The color beige, right? Is it a timeless, sophisticated, luxury neutral, or is it just the color of corporate boredom?
Corporate boredom.
Corporate boredom. So I agree. Okay. What is the ultimate fashion crime a guest on a boat can commit when stepping onto like a multi-million-dollar yacht?
Leaving their shoes on.
Oh,
yeah.
Didn't know that one.
You gotta take your shoes off before you get on a boat. Yeah.
Shoes off. Everybody take note if you ever get to be on a yacht. All right. When you are burning the midnight oil, right? In like a painting season, in a creating season, when you're gonna do a piece, what's your like unglamorous studio thing you do that people don't know about?
Oh my gosh. Wow. Now this one I'm gonna have to think about. Unglamorous. It's usually like waking up at 3 or 4 in the morning. It was struck with inspiration, and like my hair looking like a troll doll, and like just a shirt buttoned down, and and me just wandering around the house playing a little bit of Cajun music, and a spray bottle. I use the spray bottle with water to wet my canvas a lot, and sometimes just wetting the canvas will give me ideas.
I think that fits. Unglamorous. I agree. Yeah, it was good.
Unglamorous.
I'm totally unglamorous. In 3 words. Now it's similar to the first question, but it's a little different. In 3 words, how would you describe a standard plain white yacht?
Boring, unforgettable,
Forgettable or unforgettable?
Oh, forgettable and old-fashioned. Thank you.
Old-fashioned, love it. Yeah, those are good. Those are 3 good ones. Okay, is navy blue and white a timeless marine classic, or is it just the default choice for people afraid of color?
All I can think of is, what was the guy's name on Gilligan's Island? The one who was married to Levy.
Oh gosh, we're gonna have to figure that one out later.
Thurston Howell the Third.
Thurston Howell the Third, of course.
That's navy blue and white, and it's Thurston Howell. Sorry.
Agreed. I'm with you. Whoa. Okay. What is the most satisfying thing turning a boat into a canvas for your art?
Watching the owner's response. Yeah.
Love it. Love that. If you see. Oh, okay. If you pull, well, we know that answer already, so I'm skipping that one. I'm skipping that one question. When, oh, okay. When disrupting a hyper traditional market, right, which is what you're doing,
Yeah.
not easy to do.
Oh my God.
Which required more strategy? Finding the bold clients who to be first, or finding the right partners?
Finding the right partners, because having the right partners gives you the foundation to search out the right clients.
Yep, good point. That's really good. Smart. Why is the open moving water a better exhibition space for your art than a static gallery white wall?
Oh, I love this question. I think galleries are, the traditional gallery model is very old fashioned, and it's very elitist, and only certain people, can see the art, and it's only available for a few hours of the day. And, it feels unnecessarily stuffy. But having your art outside where people can see it in the marina or on a car, even when it's on the boat driving by to the marina or going home, or like having my car wrapped, I see little kids pointing at it, and people looking, they stop and look and point at it, and people stop and talk about it all the time. So I think that, it's important to like embrace your art like as much as possible. Like, it made a huge difference for me when I finally got the money to wrap my car in my art. Like, having letters on the car doesn't do anything. It's like, yeah, okay, but wrapping it, because that's what I'm doing. I need to showcase what I'm doing. Wrapping my car made all the difference. Yeah.
That's a head turner. I mean, like, who's gonna miss that? That's advertised. That it pays for every penny you paid for it in advertising. People spend so much more money than that to advertise, and you have to drive everywhere you go, and you drive a lot.
Yeah, and then you're stuck in traffic in Florida all the time.
All the time,
and
like,
so and it's easy to find your car in the parking lot. That's for sure.
Oh, that's another one. My mother could have used that when I was a kid. Oh my gosh. I can't say how many times we went out the wrong door of the mall to the wrong place and got the wrong thing. God. Oh, please. Crazy.
Oh, and that was way before the boop boop thing, so you couldn't even
way before. Oh no, like there were times I think we literally spent over an hour walking. Like there were a few times we had to get security.
Like, we had to go back in the mall and get lunch to go back.
Oh, it was an everyday occurrence. I mean, even if every car in the parking lot had art on it, and it was your kind of art, not the flat graphic designs, because they're all the same. So like literally everyone could have the same, even if it was that. But if everybody went your route, right, and we all got it, nobody would ever lose their car, because no car would ever look the same. It'd be like people, like, we just don't look the same.
Yeah, exactly.
And so why shouldn't your car be like you? You spend it's such a big investment, a vehicle. It feels like, why shouldn't it be personal and head turning, and and versus the old, like how people want to get the red sports car or whatever, and that's fine or whatever. But 20,000 other people have that same Ferrari in red, buddy. You're not. You spent $150,000 on it, and like, how many other people have that red one?
Yeah, you're still not sticking out. My car will get more notice than your red Ferrari.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's fun. It is fun to drive around in art. Like, personalize your life.
Right.
People put tattoos all over them. Yes. Great. And tattoos are beautiful art. So why not tattoo your car?
Right. Agreed. I agree. I love it. What else do I have? Let's see if there's another. I have 3 questions left. We'll try and pick one of the better ones. What is, maybe I'll give you 2. What's the ultimate compliment a client can receive at the dock. So one of your boat clients can receive at the dock. That's a beautiful boat, or who's the artist?
That's a beautiful boat.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
them to see the art, and then there, who's the artist can be the third or fourth question, but like, that's a beautiful boat. How can I get one like it? Who's the artist?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe both, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe. All right. So this is it was in that list, but just to kind of like wrap it up, like full circle it a little bit. What is the unvarnished truth? An unvarnished could be one or several, doesn't matter. That the entrepreneur or artist who's listening to this conversation wants to, and they want to quit today, right? Like they're just done. What do they need to hear right now?
It's okay if you want to quit. I had a therapist who gave me the best advice. He says, if you're having a crappy day, just go ahead and make it the most crappy day ever. Like, just sit in that, like, just cry, let your nose run, you know, whatever, watch crappy TV, eat a bunch of popcorn and Dr. Pepper, whatever. Just feel that crappy day and then, okay, get it out of your system and then try again. Don't give up, because if you give up, you'll regret. That's the one thing that I think that's the driving force for me. I know it's the driving force for me because I was always like that as a kid. I'm joining the Air Force. I'm going to Germany. I'm going to be a singer and a dancer. And I got all those things done because I made them happen. I figured out the rules and made them work to my advantage. I made them happen because I didn't want to be on my deathbed saying, oh, I almost joined the Air Force.
Yeah.
I was almost a singer and a dancer. I almost went to Germany. I don't want to live with those regrets. I want to know that I live life fully. So have your crappy day, get it over with, and then pick yourself up, because baby, like, we are all shining stars, and you just have to see it within yourself and believe it within yourself, because once you believe it, other people will believe it too.
Agreed. Beautiful advice. Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful advice from a beautiful woman.
Thank you.
Making beautiful art for beautiful boats, basically, and more to come, people. Because go check out our LinkedIn profile. There's some dresses, some things going on. We're in the research phase right now, and we are smart entrepreneurs who do that research first. Y'all should take some notes, do that. Don't just jump to the product launch. You know, check stuff out, but keep your eye on Ramona, because there's more coming, and there's some more stuff that doesn't require having to spend as much wrapping a car. We're gonna maybe let you personalize some clothes. How would you like that for Ramona's art? So that's what's coming. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Ramona, anything you want to say to anyone before we go?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention Vivace, that's on the bottom of the screen. That is a perfect example of pivoting. Like, it was a name that was cool at the time. I loved it. It was given to me by a marketing person. It meant something. It was a lot of fun, but I just don't know technically how to get it off the screen. But it's a perfect example. We were talking about that at the beginning. It's a perfect example of how your journey is evolutionary, and don't be afraid to pivot. If something's not working, don't be afraid to pivot. It doesn't mean you failed, but just don't be afraid to pivot. Don't give up on yourself. Please don't give up. Yeah.
Don't give up. Do not give up. Me and Ramona, we are not special. We didn't come from we don't have any special privileges of any kind. And we've been through a lot of struggles and a lot of no's and a lot of pivots.
Yeah.
And, you know, it takes that, and you will get there. So don't give up, and connect with both of us, especially connect with Ramona. If you're interested in anything she's talked about here, connect with her, DM her, say hello. At least give her a chance to talk to you. You know, even if you can't think of what to say, just connect with her. She'll reach out to you, you know, and follow her journey on Instagram and on LinkedIn. She also has a website, which is fineboatwraps.com, where you can look at a whole gallery of the work that is copyrighted that you can use. That is, again, it's like she'll help you with her and her design partner. If you like at least the color combination design that's on the piece, and they'll find the spot of it that you like and the placement on your boat or your car. You know, she's also doing those. So get in touch with her. Have fun with your life, personalize your life, and work with this beautiful woman, because you could not find literally a person with more integrity, more honesty, more grit, who just does amazing work and is trying to do something just to make the world more beautiful. And I think that's beautiful. So from us to you, love you, girl.
I love you too. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Don't give up.
Thank you. Thank you.